Good evening. I'd like to call the business meeting of the Florence City Council to order. Stand. We pray for the wisdom to make decisions that are beneficial to the people represented here. Empower us to speak honestly, reflect wisely, and vote with integrity. We seek your guidance tonight. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Wingo?
Here.
Ms. Chambers?
Here.
Mr. Wynn?
Here.
Ms. Whalen?
Here.
Mr. Schneider?
Here.
Ms. Cable? Mayor, we have a quorum.
We have for your consideration approval of the minutes of the business meeting November 11th, 2025. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Ms. Wingo, second by Ms. Whalen. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. First, we have municipal order MO 14-2025. It's a municipal order approving the reappointment of Janet Kegley to the Boone County Planning Commission as a member appointed by the City of Florence, Kentucky for a 4-year term. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion approved.
Mr. Schneider? Second, Mr. Wynn. Any discussion? And do we need roll call votes on municipal orders? You don't have to. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next is municipal order MO 15-2025. It's a municipal order approving the reappointment of Charlie Ralston to the Boone County Planning Commission as a member appointed by the City of Florence, Kentucky for a 4-year term. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Ms. Wingo?
Second.
Second by Ms. Whalen. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next is municipal order MO 16-2025. Municipal order approving the reappointment of Tom Zerlinski to the Boone County Planning Commission as a member appointed by the City of Florence, Kentucky for a 4-year term. Is there a motion to approve? Mr. Wynn?
Second.
Second by Mr. Schneider. Any discussion?
Just in general on all of them?
I was just going to say, if somebody would like to make a commentary.
Just
Thank
in
you, Ms.
general on
Whalen.
all of them. Can you confirm for us and for anybody else that these 3 appointees are all residents of the city of Florence, please?
Which 3?
The 3 that we are.
Janet, Charlie,
The Planning Commission,
and
yes.
Tom. Yes, they are all residents of the City of Florence.
Well, we appreciate their service. I know it's a thankless job. They spend a lot of time, effort, and energy. They don't make ultimate decisions. They send decisions back to the governing bodies, whether that's the fiscal court, the City of Florence, the City of Walton, City of Union. But I appreciate their service.
Thank you for that comment. Any other further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have municipal order MO 17-2025, municipal order approving the reappointment of Gary Wynn to the Board of Directors of the Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana Regional Council of Governments. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Ms.
Second.
Wingo, second by Ms. Whalen. Mr. Wynn will be abstaining, or, is that correct? Okay. Any discussion?
You want to do this, Gary?
Sure.
All right.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? 1 abstention. Municipal Order MO 18-2025. This is a municipal order approving the reappointment of Kelly Huff as the Florence appointee to the Airport Noise Abatement Committee for a 2-year term. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Ms. Whalen?
Second.
Second by Mr. Wynn. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next is municipal order MO 19-2025. It's a municipal order approving the reappointment of Lisa Wilson Plager as a Florence appointee for the Airport Noise Abatement Committee for a 2-year term. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Ms. Wingo?
Second.
Mr. Schneider? Any discussion? Ms. Chambers?
Does Ms. Wilson Flair, does she live in the Florence city limits?
She does not. She did when she was originally appointed. She does not live in the city of Florence, but she is an aviation expert. Is there any other?
Roll call vote on that?
Absolutely. Any other discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Ms. Wingo?
Yes.
Ms. Chambers?
No.
Mr. Wynn?
Yes.
Ms. Whalen?
Yes.
Mr. Snyder?
Yes.
Mayor, motion passes 4-1.
Next is municipal order approving the reappointment of Teresa Kraft as a Florence appointee to the Airport Noise Abatement Committee for a 2-year term. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Ms. Whalen?
Second.
Second by Ms. Wingo. Ms. Kraft is a City of Florence resident. Is there any other discussion?
Do you think we could maybe get a report from our Noise Abatement Committee on if they have been meeting and what they have been discussing? That was
Absolutely.
originated, the committee was originally formed back in, I don't know, 1990, when they opened 18 left, 36 right, and all the noise was kind of dumped in Boone County. I would just be curious as to what they're talking about now and what they might be able to tell us and the residents of the plans of the airport.
I think that's a great suggestion, Ms. Whalen. Thank you for that. We will work on making that in a future meeting. Thank you. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have discussion of the World of Golf Management Agreement. Mr. Hunt.
So I guess, first thing, sorry for your packets this week. I know that they were extra big and a lot of reading material, and hopefully you made it through. I think I've spoke to a lot of you about both of these issues. You've had some questions, and I think the memo did a pretty good job of laying it out. But specifically with World of Golf, before I get in the process and kind of how we evaluated the RFP, the reason that we went through this process is that the contract was set to expire at the end of this month. There were some contractual changes that the existing vendor was after, and after consulting with our city attorney, it was determined that those are not something that we could change administratively. We would have to go back through the process. An RFP process is much like a bid. You advertise it in the paper, there's legal requirements with it, and vendors can submit a proposal for the services or goods that they're going to offer and how much it would be for the city. Specifically for this, what the RFP was for is management of the World of Golf facility. A lot of people probably don't know. They may think that the City of Florence, all the workers up there are City of Florence employees. That's actually not the case. There's a third-party manager that manages day-to-day operations, all the construction and restaurant, everything that you see up there is managed by third-party employees. World of Golf is a success today, and that is by and large, I think, by the existing management company that's worked there for a very long time and this council. You've invested considerable capital in World of Golf and made it into more than a golf course. It's an entertainment facility. Anybody that I deal with that does, site selection and travels a lot, when they visit World of Golf, it really is game-changing. That we have things in Florence, Kentucky that they don't have in places you think you would, Scottsdale. Well, maybe not Scottsdale, but Arizona. Somebody told me one time there's nothing like this in Arizona. So kudos to you. So with that in mind, Jason and I, we put together this RFP, and looking at the significant amount of capital that has been put into World of Golf in recent years, most recently was the new net, new golf carts, and then there's some lighting that's going to be taking place, and that's going to be for a new night golf feature, which is really neat. Those investments, I think council made to grow participation, to improve the customer experience. And we felt it was important when we wrote that RFP that the management structure aligned with that level of investment. So that was kind of the first set of lenses that we put on this. And as there is a copy of the RFP in there. It's very lengthy, as all RFPs are. But when we received the responses, as you know, we did receive 2 responses. Both of those were included in your packet. And when Jason and I were evaluating these, our approach was to be objective and evaluate this through the lens of a business. We reviewed operations, staffing, financials, marketing strategies, customer experiences, and long-term stability, which was a really big part of our process. Pursuant to this evaluation, and as we stated in the memo, we are recommending that council authorize the mayor next week to execute a contract for management services of World of Golf to go to a company called Troon. Troon is, you probably read, is a national provider. They manage golf courses all throughout the United States. The next closest one, I believe, is a bird flies would be Kent County Golf Course. Is that correct? We did reach out, Jason reached out and talked to some of the references. We talked to Judge Knuckleman specifically on that one, who had nothing but good things to say. And I think it really, our decision boiled down to recommend this based off of a few things. They have a high level of national resources, staffing support, the whole way they packaged and sold how they can deliver and manage this was really eye-opening. Their marketing strategies and how they plan to grow participation and get certain demographics that maybe we aren't doing very well in to the site was very impressive part of their presentation as well. Their financial reporting, the accountability, and the oversight that it gives to Jason and his crew, I think was top-notch. And then probably the biggest thing was the succession planning aspect of this. With Troon, if one employee goes down, there's another employee to back up and operations are not interrupted. That is something that certainly we were evaluating. That is a net positive in many, many ways. And we think that basically they are the company that can take us to where we need to be in the future. So straight from a business decision perspective, Troon is the way to go. I know that doesn't even cover a 1/8 of the information in your packet, but Jason and I are here. We can answer any questions you have. We also do have 2 Troon employees here, and you may recognize one, Mr. Dave Peru, who was, a long time ago, worked at World of Golf and knows the ins and outs of it. He now works with Troon. So if you got questions, fire away.
Okay.
Ms. Whalen?
What do we gain and what do we lose? You talk a little bit about the succession plan
Sure.
as a gain.
Yep.
What is it that we are perhaps giving up in changing as far as overall control, revenue, decision-making, that type of thing?
I'll let Jason touch on some of the financials, but when we were looking at this, it was pretty obvious that the biggest thing that we were losing, and we deal with it every day in city government, is institutional knowledge. The person that works up there has decades of experience and knows where every blade of grass is within the golf course. It's something that we did not take lightly. And that is certainly probably the biggest loss to the city from that perspective. Financially, do you want to dive into some of that?
Yeah, I would say one risk to all this is, apart from Mr. Landrum, experienced employees departing. Obviously, Troon will offer, existing employees to stay on and come on over to their management company, but a lot of that knowledge could go out the door on December 31st, so we need to be prepared for that. In terms of revenue, Troon's projections are aggressive, and I appreciate that. Growing at around 5% on average each year from a revenue projection, getting to almost $4 million by 2030. I think that is an excellent benchmark to try to get to. Troon's going to use their economies of scale for purchasing, bringing in their outside knowledge, their marketing expertise. All those things should really drive the top line, bottom line, and increase our overall margins. So I think from a business perspective, this is a win-win for us. There are, of course, risks. We know that the turnaround's quick, and we need to work quickly, but Troon is up for the challenge, and so are we.
You mentioned institutional knowledge. I guess my question to you all is, did you reach out to anybody with institutional knowledge about the golf course, the operation, the decisions behind the way it was being run, as you evaluated these, to get any history or backstory on that?
Well, naturally, we interviewed the person with probably the most institutional knowledge because they were responded to it, and we certainly had that dialogue and got the insight of how they have always operated. I think we had a pretty good idea of the philosophy in which they've operated under for the last 20 years, kind of some of the ideas they had moving forward. We looked into the infrastructure and capital, like future capital expenditures, I think was at the top of our mind. We know that there is something looming, I think, with irrigation down the road. There's something looming with the clubhouse or the caddy shack, as they call it, where they do some of the maintenance of the facilities. So we certainly analyze that. None of those projections are in here, nor do I anticipate that being something that we request or discuss in this upcoming budget meeting. But within the next 3 years, absolutely, from a capital side. And then we did talk to people that Truant has worked for. Beyond that, I don't know who else.
Jason Cobb, my senior accountant, has been running the numbers for the golf course for a long time. He has a good sense of where we stand. So spoke with him on this, and he's aligned as well.
And I guess one other thing, we've always been responsible for a lot of the maintenance. I don't know how that factors into Eric's department or the Public Services Department and whether that lessens their load. Obviously, I would say it appears that it will lessen the load in the Finance Department if we are no longer doing accounts payable, accounts receivable, payroll for them. You've brought on some new people, some additional people. What does that do to your workload as far as removing that piece of it? Do we see a savings in personnel on our side by moving in this direction?
I think we'll see an increase in governance and oversight in the finance department. We'll be
Define that for me.
Sure. So right now we're working through our audit, which will be coming next month. And you'll see, I think there are a lot of areas that we need to segregate duties, and this is a piece of that will allow us to do that for better financial oversight and governance. So I think that is a key facet. It's not a cost savings per se, but this will, make our operations better within the finance department and allow us to do our jobs at an even higher level.
And what about public services? What are the responsibilities that move forward with public services?
So one of the things that Tom, Jason, and I sat down with for about 2 hours this afternoon was getting into the inner dialogue of the contract. And those types of conversations are really something I think will be looked at a little bit closer detail in terms of responsibility. Who's responsible for the bike path maintenance? Building maintenance is probably a big portion of this. What service contracts do they have? How long are those service contracts? There's a whole transition conversation. Truant has a professional transition team consisted of many members that have did this with, I don't want to say hundreds of golf courses, but it sounds better, so I'll say it. A lot of golf courses, and we're going to sit down, and when we have that transition meeting, I think we're going to have a lot more clarity of roles, responsibilities, and things like that. So we'll work through the finer details of that. We're not going to come out on the losing end of it, I can tell you that. I have no interest in seeing that and stacking more work on Eric and his team. They can't handle that.
But do we know, when you say you're going to go into the nitty-gritty of it, do we know what they're including in their proposal as far as the maintenance, the general maintenance of the facility that will no longer be the direct responsibility for the city?
There is, correct me if I'm wrong, Jason, but there is line items in terms of expenses for common maintenance and things like that that more than likely align with how it was managed over the past few years. I would say that we would mirror that. I'm not knowledgeable enough to know if it's, say, $30,000 where every penny went, but that's something that we'll look into. That they pretty much match those line items and expenses across through there. I don't remember any kind of adjustments in terms of maintenance.
Now, of course, maintenance, no significant change from what it was last year. So I would say, from a maintenance perspective, I don't think we'll see a significant increase on the expense side.
I was looking more at a decrease.
Our goal was always to decrease.
If they're taking over management and we're paying them to manage, does that include any of the things we have previously been responsible for outside of the financial end of it and payroll and accounts payable and receivable?
They will be taking over every role as it has existedly managed right now. So, there hasn't been any conversation about them taking on anything anymore outside of accounting. And there's some marketing aspects that we're very interested in because we anticipate some revenue growth coming from that. Those are probably the two biggest things I could see, and that is a cost increase, right? Or it's a wash depending on how revenue grows and some of their projections. Give me 3 months and I'll figure out a way to save some money there. by the budget retreat. I don't, off the top of my head, I don't know. I don't know where we're cutting things at up there right now. That's not really been the focus of it. It's about shoring up.
I think Mr. Peru might be able to help with some of that, too.
He's pretty good with ideas with that, for sure. I know
Any
that
other
doesn't directly
discussion?
answer your question.
Ms. Chambers?
Yes.
Can you give us a number on what the World of Golf costs our taxpayers annually? Currently?
What kind of cost are you looking for? So last year, we made money. We made $100,000. That includes depreciation expense. So depreciation expense is the capital that we expense on an annual basis. So last year, we made money. The previous couple of years, coming out of the pandemic, I would say there were some challenges, like every golf course, with staffing, things like that. 2 years ago, we put a large amount of capital in for the restaurant. 2024, we lost around $100,000, and then this year we made $100,000. So I would say we're on a strong growth trajectory coming out of the pandemic, if that answers your question.
So just to recap, in the last year, we have made money
Correct.
with the current management company,
Yes.
but now we are going to go with a new management company.
Yes.
Okay. And I know that the World of Golf does a lot to reach a diverse population of people, to where people that wouldn't normally have the means to have their kids involved in golf are able to do so. Can you tell me with the new management company, is that going to continue? The people that, these kids, for example, that have relationships with their golf instructors, is that going to continue? Or are they going to have an interruption in that service? Do you have an idea of what that will look like?
That's, I can probably, I can't give you an accurate description because I'm not the one managing it. In our conversations with them during the interview, they assured us that the vision that we have for the golf course, they will deliver, up into including any of the programming that has taken place up there historically, as well as they have programming that they have in all these different golf courses that they manage. They're a very professional group. I would like to think that they would meet us anywhere we wanted to be in terms of lessons. Will there be an interruption and some of the initial driving ranges? We've got to get through the next steps of this contract to get a timeline of everything, and we'll be able to report back on that. Our goal is not to have any interruptions, but we had to. You can only progress something so far until you have a general idea that the council is willing to entertain a motion to allow the mayor to sign that. Once we have that, we can put our foot on the pedal and move forward with negotiations and getting this thing locked up. Was there a part of your question that related to underprivileged kids? Am I saying that wrong?
I know they work with CRC, the Cincinnati Public Courses, and they do a lot of work with underprivileged kids up there. I'm looking at their Jackson Park Caddy program, which is a different state outside Chicago. So I know they do a lot of work with that, but I think we can check with them and see what kind of programs they can implement at World Golf.
I did have some parents reach out to me, actually this afternoon, that have already received a message that their instructors would no longer be available. And, that was where my question came from.
Okay. Yeah, obviously, might be new lesson coaches, everything like that, but, there will be lessons and those programs they'll look different, but they'll continue up there. That's a big part of the World of Golf is teaching kids how to play golf. I'm going to get my kids, my 6-year-old enrolled in golf lessons up there soon. So that's a big part of what we do at World of Golf.
Any other discussion?
I'd like to. You want to go ahead, Pat, before I?
So I was just going to say, I believe that in the proposal that we've received, there is conversation, or there is some discussion in there about bringing in groups that have not traditionally been real active up there, and trying to develop some more programming, even for older people that haven't played golf before or kind of think they might like to. And So they do have a variety of different kinds of programs in the other facilities that they have experience with. And I think that's one of the things that I see with this proposal is that there is a depth of experience in other types of programs in other areas that are, for us, will be kind of innovative programs, which could prove to be beneficial for the community.
Thank you.
And I guess I
Ms.
just
Whalen?
want to express my appreciation to Landrum Golf and to Ralph
Absolutely.
and to his staff. They have hung in there with the city of Florence for more than 20 years, longer than that, been a part of the revitalization, the rebuild, weathered the pandemic and shutting things down and not being able to do the work that they did. And we owe a great deal of gratitude and appreciation to Ralph and to Landrum Golf and his employees. So I just wanted to make sure that we express that.
And we are not voting on this tonight.
Correct.
I would like to ask you, you mentioned that there are some representatives from Troon that are here.
They are here.
Please present yourself and tell us why you're excited about managing the World of Golf in the city of Florence.
Certainly. Hi, my name's Nick Bednar. I'm the Vice President of Operations for Troon Golf. This is David Peru, who's our General Manager for Kenton County Golf Courses. And I would just start by saying you have a wonderful facility here. You should be very proud of it. The investments you've made are clear. It's a type of property that we need in the golf industry. It's a great place where anybody can learn, from somebody who's never swung a club before to an avid golfer. So we're excited. We're excited to build upon, again, well said, Landrum Golf Management. A lot of respect for what they've built. We want to make this transition as seamless as possible. Change is hard. It always is, especially when you have a manager who's been in seat for a long time. But we're going to bring a great deal of enthusiasm and experience to this community. I think it's important to note that we are, once we are partners, we are the city of Florence, and we take that responsibility very seriously, that we want to represent you in the best possible light and build upon the community. David, do you want to add to that?
It's great to see some old friends. Very nice to see you. It's a big company, but we're local. We're in Cincinnati. I know half of the people sitting at this table. We just want to build upon what Mr. Landrum did. If I got a chance to speak today, I just want to thank Ralph as well and the city of Florence, because I wouldn't be standing here today if you all and Mr. Landrum didn't give me the opportunity. But we value this property so much as like an opportunity to capture these new golfers and build on the program and everything that we want to do. The question was asked about affordability. There's no reason to change that. We just want to get better at it. That's all. But I thank Ralph. I thank everybody here at the City of Florence for listening to us today and the opportunity he gave me when I was his age, when he was on the concrete crew. So thank you for your time. And if you have any questions about anything that we have planned, it's just be efficient, be strong, be part of the community. I live 6.8 miles from here. I did the math. I'll be around. I'll be at anything that you need. I'll be here, happy to help and answer questions at any time, day or night. That's a question for my direct report. So I will hand that back over.
We are one big family. David will be involved. So the way our company works is we're based in Scottsdale, Arizona, but we have offices throughout the country. I'm based in Central Ohio, so I'm a couple hours away. I oversee our public golf courses here in Kentucky, Ohio, and Indiana. But then we have local leadership as well, and that's where, obviously Dave's connection to World of Golf is strong. I'd love to have him involved. I don't want to get the cart in front of the horse, but yes, I mean, we will all be involved. Our partners on the other side of the river in Cincinnati would be thrilled to help as well down in Lexington where we manage University Club. That's one cool thing about working for Troon is you're part of the biggest, yes, I mean, we're the largest corporation in golf. We're one of a kind, but there is a local feel. There's a family feel to it, which we, that's a big part of our roots. And, golf's a relationship business. It really is. So, we're going to put the best team in place possible to represent our company and represent you all in the best fashion. So we look forward to it. We look at this as, I would like to think we are a long-term partner. We're going to be standing up here in 3 years, hopefully again, asking for a renewal, and it's our job to earn that.
Julie. Ms. Chambers?
So in reading your information, it says we have, I don't know which page it was on, but the resources from a private equity group. And when I read private equity group, I don't have good feelings about that. I think Panera, I think all these other companies that have, brought in private equity groups and have sucked the life out of companies that we love and care about. And how are you different from some of those other companies who have done that?
Okay. Well, private equity for us has been a capitalization tool, a tool to grow. Troon was founded as one single golf course, Troon North, out in Scottsdale, Arizona, by Dana Garmany. It grew organically for many years until it got to be about 150 golf courses nationwide. And at that time, private equity was brought in to help purchase golf courses as well as lease golf courses. That's not the model that we have here. To be clear, this is your money, right? This is your golf course. You own it. We are operating it on your behalf. So any budgetary decisions are going to be made in coordination. Troon is not going to be making those decisions in a vacuum. We're going to be listening, and we're going to be adaptive and responsive. So private equity, our private equity partner is Texas Pacific Group. We also have Leonard Green, which was the previous private equity partner who kept an ownership position when they sold the majority share to Texas Pacific Group. But we also have private owners. Dana Garmany is still an owner, as well as some of our senior leadership as well. Private equity is a tool for us to continue to grow, acquire new golf courses, and have acquired management companies as well along the way, which has helped Troon grow in scope. And we reinvest that back into the company as well, in technology and programming and people. But this is your money. This is not, our private equity firm is not going to be asking us to make decisions at this level. That's going to be something we decide on an annual basis.
Councilmember Chambers, I'm probably speaking out of turn here. I live and breathe Northern Kentucky. We believe in Northern Kentucky. We believe in the community. We believe in programming. We believe in everything that Northern Kentucky believes in. That's who this opportunity is. So we're big, but we're local. So I just want to ease that a little bit for you, okay?
It's a fair question.
Yeah.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll turn on my microphone. Next, we have for your consideration electric franchise agreements. We did do a bid document and a bid approval of the bid documents.
Correct.
Earlier this year.
Yep.
And we did open the process up for bids for non-exclusive electric franchises. We did receive 2 bids, one from Duke Electric as well as Owen Electric. And Mr. Hunt, is there anything more you would like to add with regard to this?
Yeah, just real quick, council, basically, what you approved via ordinance was the bid documents, and that's kind of different of most ordinances that you pass. So the responses that you received in your packet this week are based off the RFP documents that you approved via ordinance. So just a few highlights of for maybe people that don't understand what this is. Essentially, these agreements give Duke Energy and Owen Electric the legal authority to operate within the public right-of-way. And it's not even it's more about continue to operate within the city's public right-of-way. They are non-exclusive franchises, not that there's a lot of startup electric companies popping up everywhere, but they are non-exclusive. We're not granting any utility a monopoly. We didn't pick Duke and say, all right, Owen, you're out, or vice versa. Each agreement runs for 20 years, which is pretty standard when you get into electric franchise agreements. And probably the biggest thing I want to highlight, just because there was some misinformation on this, is, as you will see in the agreement, there is no franchise fee imposed anywhere in the document. No electric bills are going to be going up. nothing like that. That's not a part of what you will be asked to approve. So the next steps for this would be to authorize the mayor next week to be able to sign both of those franchise agreements. And Linda Ain, who I believe you have met before, she's our outside attorney that deals with nothing but franchise agreements. I feel bad for her most days because they're very boring. She has went through this with a fine-tooth comb and, signed off on it. So that is where we're at. Happy to answer any questions you may have, even though it's about our 7th time, I think, talking about franchise agreements in the last 6 months.
We have any questions or comments for Mr. Rupp? All right, seeing none, this will be on the agenda for next week's meeting. For the mayor's report, just wanted to thank everybody who came out to our tree lighting. We had it on 2 floors, so there was a little bit of a crowd on each floor. R.A. Jones was there singing, did a great job. It's, I think, their first time with us, so we were happy to host them. We had letters to Santa, we had crafts. Mrs. Claus read some stories. We had Santa here to take photos, and we had our children's art contest winners were recognized, as well as we got to flip the switch on that tree. So it was a good time. Thank you for all the sponsors who helped as well, and all the employees who made it possible. Just to note, the Florence Government Center will be closed on Wednesday, December 24th, and Thursday, December 25th for the Christmas holiday. We will resume regular office hours on Friday, December 26th, 2025. The Florence Government Center will be closed on Wednesday, December 31st, 2025, and Thursday, January 1st, 2026 for the New Year's holidays, and resume regular hours on Friday, January 2nd, 2026. The city will have our Christmas tree cycling pickup on Friday, January 2nd. Trees must be placed at the curb the night before to be collected. Please remove all tinsel and ornaments and ribbons and lights. Please do not place the tree in a bag. Contact the City of Florence Public Services Department at 859-647-5416 for more information. The city will have a Christmas tree cycling drop-off at Stringtown Park. That's 7340 Burlington Pike, December 26th through January 15th, 2025. Please remove all tinsel, ornaments, ribbon, lights, and bags, and drop off no later than 5 p.m. on January 15th. And I'd like to call on Chief Mallory.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to mention that our department participated in No Shave November once again this year to raise money for Cincinnati Children's Cancer Center. Our goal this year was $2,500. And thanks to some generous donors, we were able to reach our goal and exceed it, and we raised $5,025. So, and one thing to mention, most of the funds, more than half the funds, came from a large contribution from the staff and parents of New Haven Elementary. And they did that in memory of Ford Atkins. He was a 7-year-old student who recently passed away. And they did that, and like I said, in loving memory of him. I never met Ford, but everyone I've talked to said that he was an exceptional young man whose kindness, selflessness, and compassion left a lasting memory on everyone that he touched and everyone he met. So just keep Ford's family in your thoughts and prayers. And once again, thanks to everyone who contributed to this very extremely worthy cause. So thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Ms. Whalen?
And our retired officer, Kevin Duncan, is the school not the skill resource officer at New Haven.
He absolutely is.
And had a personal relationship with the young man. And if you know Kevin, you know how charismatic he can be. And he reached out
Nice way
to
of putting
his
it.
friends, his family, all of his connections, which drove the increased donation to New Haven. So thank
Absolutely.
you to Kevin, thank you to you all for what you did and the donation that's been made.
Thank you.
Great. Anyone on council desire recognition? Ms. Chambers?
Eric, the snow kind of messed up your leaf collection. Can you elaborate on that?
Sure. So as of yesterday, maybe Melissa can correct me, I don't know if we've posted the new one up today or not on social media. If not, it'll be coming up before the end of this week. So we will continue. We will get back to the routes, and we'll have an updated route list on our website. So in the meantime, if you have questions, feel free to call our office. Our number is 859-647-5416, and we can let you know where you stand in terms of the route and point you in the right direction as we kind of complete this. We might have some more snow this week as well, so just bear with us as we navigate the winter weather.
Anyone else on council? Any department heads? Anyone in the audience desire recognition? Please come to the podium and state your name.
My name is Karen Strayer. Please forgive me, I've been dealing with colds all month. Sorry, I'm going back to Veterans Day. I had 7 brothers who served, and I also agree that that meeting should have been canceled or moved. Your saving grace, I mean, Florence has been great with veterans, and that was just such a bad choice. Saving grace was the 2 officers we added. They make the best officers, veterans do. Anyway, sorry, should have brought my water in. My background is I'm a retired RN with DaVita Healthcare, which is one of the leading dialysis providers. Nationwide, we're also international. With that company, I was promoted to facility administrator and eventually regional training leadership for the state of Kentucky, Southern Ohio, and Southern Indiana. So I have a little bit of understanding of leadership. With DaVita, we had 7 core values that we did everything with. We served our clients, we served our vendors, we served our teams. Those core values were service, integrity, team, continuous improvement, accountability, fulfillment, and fun. Unfortunately, I couldn't find any core values for the city of Florence, nor did I find a mission statement. So I'm going to use my core values that I lived with to kind of assess what I felt happened in that meeting. You can tell when I typed this says last week. Sorry, it's been a while. During that meeting, we heard from 2 citizens who moved to our fair city. And within weeks, their welcome wagon was a code enforcement ordinances. Not your fault, just saying. Both of them moved into established homes, so it wasn't a new issue. I just think we can do better. That's not a very good welcome to anyone who moves to our city. And I just wonder, were those violations present prior to the purchase? Is this how we want our city to be seen? Integrity. I observed the obvious anger in the city presenters towards Councilwoman Cable over her comments on social media. Is this the first public incident of disagreement with this council? No. How is this different than sitting in a council meeting and verbally attacking a fellow citizen elected council member by name because she didn't get her way? Or sitting in a budget meeting and having a city administrator make disparaging comments about a Florence citizen who volunteers her time. I reported this to you, Mayor, that day. I think you remember. Or a mayor stating that people lie when disputing Ms. Cable's, Councilwoman Cable's reported conversation with the neighbor. I saw similar behavior when Councilwoman Chambers was elected to this council. In my opinion, we seem to have an old guard versus the new guard mentality. Team, another core value. Do you feel this council works as a team, or are personalities preventing that from happening? I used the mayor's example, looked up the ordinances under fencing. There were 12 ordinances on fencing. None of them related to barbed wire on residential, but there were 5 ordinances for commercial. No sexually oriented business shall erect a fence. Do we have one of those? Anyway. Of course, ponds, swimming pools, vicious animals. Finally, a fence may not impede the flow of natural resource. I don't know, I don't have a fence, so I don't have that problem. I just wanted to see how the process worked. So we had 12 things related to a fence. The first 3 core values are how we or you should function. Continuous improvement is the next core value. What is the process to evaluate the large volume of ordinances? I mean, using your own words, they've been there for decades. Are any of these in need of updating? Do we have a process to update them, or reform, or repeal? Accountability. All members of this council are accountable for their actions. Those who live in glass houses should not throw stones. Fulfillment. At Tavita, the service we provided through integrity, with a team, and continuous improvement will cause this community to flourish. I got lost. Oh, that was fulfillment. And then, of course, we want the jobs to be fun. I think we do have a lot of fun, but there are some bumps in the road. So I have some suggestions. Could we get a short list of maybe the most offensive ordinances or something that we could post so that people know? Because until recently, we didn't even know where these ordinances were. I like the thing on the internet, but there's a lot to it. It really needs to be evaluated. That's the other one. Could we evaluate the ordinances that are antiquated or needing updated? My understanding is there are no new ordinances in 20 years. Is that what I don't know. I'm trying to remember. I was sick the day I listened to this. I don't think there's a need for another unelected bureaucratic committee, the Ethics Board. I think perhaps some of the examples I've given here, we could maybe pick up an ethics book, maybe pay attention, watch the videos, see what we're saying, see how we look to the community, because that's how it looked to me. I also think there should be a team building, because I see a lot of animosity in this council. I think that's it. Any
Thank you,
questions?
Karen.
I'm sorry, it's just my observation during my illness.
Thanks, Karen.
Thank you, Karen.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Hi, if you could please state your name.
My name is Trevor Nelson. I live at 8390 Orleans Boulevard. I'm here tonight, recently elected as to the board of the Orleans South Homeowners Association and was appointed the president of that board. And I'm here tonight to represent the residents of Orleans South. Over the past couple of years, we have had a serious issue with traffic in our neighborhood, and it has only gotten worse. On Orleans Boulevard, we receive traffic from North Orleans, Ballyshannon, Hawks Landing, Gunpowder Trail. There's 25 to 50 more homes in front of Cooper High School that are about to be built. Drury Homes in Aberdeen is planning to build even more homes. And in October, the Boone County Planning Commission discussed a zone change on 78 acres to allow for an 882-unit development. And all of that traffic comes down our residential street. Down our street, we also have Cooper High School, Long Branch Elementary, and Ballyshannon Middle School. And all of the employees for those schools and some of the students who can drive also cut through our neighborhood to get to school every single day. With some statistics that were provided by Mr. Eric Hall here last year, 85% of the traffic on Orleans Boulevard is going 10 miles per hour over the speed limit. Our speed limit is 25. From 7 to 8 a.m., we get 318 cars per hour. From 4 to 5 p.m., we get 285 cars per hour. Those of us who live on Orleans Boulevard are very used to trash being thrown in our yards from passing cars. We are used to our fountain, our water fountain in our neighborhood being vandalized. Our mailboxes get hit. Mine's already been hit this year, and my neighbor and I had to go and replace parts on it. And consistently, we have drivers that are not stopping for school buses. In fact, last year I witnessed a kid who almost got hit by a car because they were not watching, they were on their cell phone. And the driver of the bus had to put on their horn, and the mother that was waiting to pick up her child had to scream at this driver. And luckily, nothing happened. Recently, and we appreciate your efforts, a stop sign has been placed on this street, which has done a lot to reduce the speeding. However, the speeding does continue. Digital speed limit signs have also helped, but with all of the developments in the area that are being built, the traffic just continues to flow. In fact, we have 4 residents on a small section of Orleans Boulevard between where Long Branch Road and Orleans Boulevard is and Old Union that oftentimes have to wait 5 to 10 minutes to get out of their driveway because there is traffic backed up from stop signs on either end. I definitely want to call attention to the police department. They have done a phenomenal job in patrolling our street when we've called for them. I have talked with Chief Mallory here several times, and I have also talked with Lieutenant Geis. And he should be commended because every time I've called him, he has been extremely responsive. And I've even volunteered my driveway for his use. And I've watched him in action. He does a really good job. So please pass on my regards to him. I've also worked recently with County Commissioner Chet Hand, Boone County Judge Executive Gary Moore, on a plan to try and reroute Long Branch Road so that this traffic is diverted off of our street. Recently, though, we have discovered that there is an apartment complex proposed near us. And this apartment complex is going to go right in the land that I have been trying to convince the county to reroute Long Branch Road on. From what I've been able to pull from public record from the City of Union, this apartment complex would have 443 high-density multifamily units and patio homes, resulting in 900 additional cars in the area. The primary access points for this proposed complex would be on Bowman Way, Long Branch Road, and Old Union. This is right in the area where we live. Now, we already have 3,000 cars that pass down our residential street a day. We can't handle any more, and I don't think the roads that this project would empty onto can handle it anymore. I know I have a lot of residents that are here with me, and so I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I am here to express our opposition to this apartment complex. I think before we try to add more residents to our already crowded streets, that we take a look at the streets that we already have and see if we can't get some of this traffic off of them. As the neighborhoods around us continue to go, the traffic down our streets continue to grow. And for anybody that has been through that 4-way stop on Long Branch Road and Orleans Boulevard, it can get very, very backed up. I have to drive my son to school in the morning, and that intersection is full. And if there's ever an accident at that intersection, none of the people that need to get to any of those neighborhoods I previously mentioned or those schools can get through because we are the primary way that people drive. In the past 6 months to a year, I've tried several times to reach out to people on this board. I've tried multiple times to get a hold of you, Mayor, and the clerk. I don't know if they've passed on my information, but I've left messages about 4, 5, 6 times, and they've said they'd get back to me, and they have not. I've also left some messages with Mr. Hall to try and get some more information, and none of those have been returned. And between the public records I received from Union and my attempts to contact the city, and having received no response, I'm beginning to think that maybe this apartment complex is something that is trying to be hidden from the residents of Florence. And because of that, this morning I filled out an open records request form to try and get as much information on this project as I can, because I owe it to the citizens of our HOA to find out what's going to be built in our area and to stop any future expansions of traffic. We have enough as it is, and we need your help to get a lot of these drivers out of our neighborhoods so that our children can play safely. And with that, I'll take any questions if you have any.
I just commend you for coming in and letting us know, making me aware. And this is not even a project that's proposed at this point. It's very premature, I guess, in the development. I guess, Josh, if you could explain, we definitely want citizen input
Sure.
in the process and
So we
how they could go about making sure that their voice is heard.
Yes, ma'am. So anytime that there's an official proposal, it starts at the Boone County Planning Commission. Say you came up to council and you had a bunch of issues with the project. Council cannot take what your statements are into the record. The appropriate course of action is go to the actual public hearing or submit written comment as a part of that submittal to the Boone County Planning Commission. That way it can be taken into account for the record. From there, it goes through, public hearing process, technical design review committee. There's experts that look at the traffic impacts of it, the design, the architectural details, all kinds of stuff. It's about a 6-month process, and then it'll ultimately be forwarded to the city of whatever project it's annexed into, and then that city council will make the ultimate decision. Happy to get with you. I'm sure we have your contact information, but get with you, make sure personally that you know when those dates are, if this project so chooses to move forward. What has been put out there by the City of Union is blatantly wrong, in about every aspect, and it naturally has people upset. So once we get an official plan submitted, that is, the public is more than welcome to look at that, review, and provide comments. But we do appreciate your concern. A lot of times, these things go through, we don't get comments. That's very frustrating. We want comments.
Absolutely.
So we're happy to have them.
And for the record, I'm not against growth in the area, but I definitely think that we need to look at the existing neighborhoods and try and see how is this going to impact those. And right now, we're already getting more and more cars all the time, which is why we're bringing this forward.
I do think a joint solution with the county is necessary because everything that you mentioned is really outside the city limits. It's county.
It is.
And it's impacting the city. So there needs to be partnership at the table. The county needs to step forward and be willing to allocate dollars.
And I did present this to the fiscal court about 6 months ago, and the trouble that we have is this is right on the border between the county, which is Long Branch Road, Orleans Boulevard, which is Florence, and then there's a little bit of Union involved too. The border of all three entities is kind of right in that area. So it's definitely going to take some collaboration between all cities involved to come to a solution that's beneficial to everybody.
We're willing to collaborate.
Thank you.
So I'm
Ms.
sorry, could you
Chambers?
just clarify? What is it that you are proposing as to alleviate the traffic?
My ultimate proposal would be, for anyone who's familiar with the area, Long Branch Road kind of curves right onto Orleans Boulevard. And prior to Orleans South being built, that road went straight. So naturally, the flow of traffic is to come right through our neighborhood. I'm proposing, first of all, that be straightened out, which I know the county is looking at right now. But additionally, I feel that Long Branch needs to connect directly to 42. And it's definitely going to take some looking at the maps and seeing how we can make that work, but I think we could make that work. We could connect Long Branch directly to 42, right where Old Union connects right now. And that would get all of that traffic out of all of these neighborhoods. It would also allow for a very much increased response time to the ambulances and the police department. I can hear when you guys are driving down 42, and then I can hear when you get to the Kroger intersection there, and then I can hear when you come down my street. Right now, as it is, it adds a couple of minutes to their response time, and doing this would definitely cut down on that response time.
I wish it would be an easy engineering feat, but
I do
there's
too.
quite a grade.
There's some terrain involved,
There's terrain
yes.
involved.
Terrain,
So I
collaboration,
think that's
there's a
why
lot
you've
involved.
not seen movement as of yet, but these things can be overcome.
Agreed. And I am happy to help anybody here in pursuing a solution to this at any time, and I'll stay after so that you can get my information if you'd like it.
Thank you.
Any other questions for me?
I would just like to say, I think what I heard Josh say, nothing's been submitted to the Planning
Correct.
Commission for a project in that area. The developer can be talking to the property owner, there can be conversations going on. As he said, the City of Union made a statement at one of their commission meetings that wasn't necessarily based 100% in fact. So I think until the project actually is either submitted to the Planning Commission or goes away, I mean, something's going to happen. Obviously, there's discussions, but we've not seen a plan, we've not heard anything that's been submitted, and when it does, that's when it would go first to the public hearing process at the Planning Commission.
Okay.
So it's not that we're sitting on something and hiding it because we don't
Right.
have it.
I appreciate that. A lot of this is coming from some articles that we've read that apparently there's already
Yeah.
plans for where they want to dump traffic that come out of this project. So somebody somewhere is proposing something.
Well, they may be, but it hasn't.
And if it
there's no
hasn't hit here
official-
yet, that means that
there's no official
we're getting here
proposal that
early.
we've seen.
So that's good.
And there.
Y-
Can I-
Ms. Wingo.
I just want to reinforce what Josh Hunt mentioned about making comments at the public hearing that the Planning Commission holds. That's the appropriate place. If a project goes forward and it goes through the Planning Commission, that's the first step. And when they have the public hearing, all those comments that are made then that's all what's taken into consideration in making a decision. That then goes, they make a recommendation to the fiscal court makes a recommendation. Eventually, it all comes to the city, right? And once it comes to the city, we can't take any more testimony. We can only go by what the record was at the public hearing. So any comments that are made or that people want to make after that time, we're not allowed to consider. It's kind of like telling the jury to disregard that comment. You know they heard it,
They've already
but
heard it,
they're
yes.
not supposed to take it into consideration. And that's what's so very difficult for us, because when people don't ever go to a public hearing and we don't hear anything through the public hearing about it, that's why we've been trying to make it more and more information out there, more available, so that the public knows when these things are coming at the city. Tried to make sure that our council members know about it. But that's the appropriate time when that would happen. So anything in the city that's a project, that's when the comments really are important, and they make a big difference.
Yeah, we'll be sure to keep an eye on that
Okay.
committee then. I appreciate that.
And that is following state law. It's not rules that
Right.
we've made up, that is the state statute that
I understand.
dictates planning and zoning. So,
Thank you for that clarification, Ms. Whalen.
All right, thank you all for your time. Appreciate it.
Anyone else?
Well, here we go again. Don't get any better than this.
Joe, I've not been laying in your front yard, I promise you.
Well, we got more pictures. Joe Berkshire, 85 and a half, been here for a while. I got some pictures for Josh because I've been working with him on these deer. And they're his deer, they're not my deer. And they end up in my yard. So it's up to Josh to figure out if he clears the brush out of the property that you own, the deer will leave. Now, what's happened, we had 6 of them to start out with, and one of them got knocked off the other day. There's a police report. So here's 5 of them. We're going to name them after the members on city council. I took the best view of them. That's the rear end. That's what it looks like. So what are we going to do, Josh?
I don't see any bushes in the picture.
Any what?
I don't see any bushes in the picture.
Well, have you been to your property lately?
I haven't.
Huh?
I haven't been.
So you guys paid a hell of a lot of money for a thing that tells, it shows what you're going to do with it, and it shows the trees that are in there. You know, if you get rid of the habitat, you'll get rid of the problem. And we know that if you do that for less than $40,000, you don't need a bid. Isn't that true?
Do they have it to 60? Eric went over 1 day. Is it still 40?
It's still 40. Huh?
Talking about up it.
Well, we don't have to up it. We could do it twice. Go in there one time and go back again.
That breaks procurement laws, but I hear what you're saying.
Okay, so Kentucky Farm Bureau said there was 8,600 deer hits last year. 6 people got killed. We just had a woman killed over in Indiana the other day on Route 1 with a deer hit. Now, what are we going to do?
I guess we can reach out to animal control and ask for their expertise.
Whoa. We
Yeah.
don't need animal control.
Sure
We
we do.
need the brush control. You made Frank Collette cut bushes so the homeless people wouldn't live there, but now you won't cut your own bushes?
So this is, typically we get calls every day talking about us cutting trees down and people very upset that we're taking away the natural habitat of
This
animals
is
in the
not
city of
natural. There's a
Florence.
Florence Library right there, Josh. That's
I
not
know
a
that.
natural habitat.
Wow.
Deers don't read. And I mean, it's up to you to solve this problem. It's not my problem.
We will look at what we can do
No,
with the
wait a minute now.
bushes.
I feel like we're getting a hold of a hand of Jell-O. Are we gonna do something or not?
I don't have the funding to commit to it. That's a decision council would have to make at our budget retreat.
Here we are, right here, council. This has
not-
been going on for 3 months.
We don't have the budget on the agenda today.
Well, when are we gonna put it on there? This has been going on for 3 months.
May,
May?
yeah.
Well, okay, let's do some deer math. You take 2 of the Buck brothers, we got Gary and David.
Okay.
You mix them in with those girls right there, and we're gonna have 3 instead of 2. Had you thought about that? That's called deer mat.
They look like all females to me.
They are, so we're gonna have 5 instead of 5 more. You know, the bartender's friend is beer nuts. They're $2.98 a bag. Deer nuts are under $1, so give that some thought too. So what are we gonna do? I see them every day, they're out there, I mean, they're dangerous. Frank Collette has to clean up his place, why don't you have to clean up yours?
I promise you I'll take a look at it this week.
No, taking a look at it.
No, it is not.
I look
my
at it every
decision
day.
I understand, you look out your window and see it.
Yeah,
There is no funding to remove the bushes. I don't have funding set aside for that, so it's not something unilaterally I can sit here and say, we'll remove the bushes tomorrow.
I also would, I know it was comically laughed at, but there is animal control, and there's no guarantee that removing the bushes will remove the deer. I do think we need to have a very detailed plan as to what we could do, and I do think that does require experts, more so than just removing bushes. So I think that will be an avenue that we definitely will pursue. So thank you for bringing that up.
you know, if you drain the lake, you'll get rid of the fish, trust me, that's an old proverb. Now, you had this study made about what you're gonna make a park. I cut the fat out of it, and this is what the fat was in the study that they did. So I can get your thing done cheaper than you can, probably.
You cut my drawing?
Huh?
You cut my drawing?
Yeah, because this was, did you pay for this?
Yep.
You got a good deal on that, I guess. So now we're gonna talk about the Gaza Strip. You know, they named the overpass, the Jack Reno overpass, had the Kenny Price thing. Well, between the library and the Mary Rose thing, we have the migrants going up and down the street. Baby buggies, grocery carts, bicycles with carts on them. The only thing that we don't have that the Gaza Strip has is donkey carts. Haven't seen one yet. So I thought about maybe, can we change the name of that? Who's in charge of changing the name of the streets?
Highway Department.
Yep.
Highway Department?
State Highway.
Frankfurt's the one that named it the Jack Reno Overpass and the Kenny Price Highway.
So we-
Legislators
so-
probably from here went to KDOT.
It couldn't be unofficially? I can put up my own sign?
As long as it's not on the right of way. it gets
Would that work? See, there's only 2 people that live, the 2 houses close to this, and it's the ladies that live across the street, a mother, her daughter, and her granddaughter. And they watch me, I watch them. They're kind of like Matlock and Rockford and Sherlock Holmes. We keep a track of what's going on. Now, this gets to deer stuff. You're still on, Josh. You're not off. You got to do something.
Okay.
But it's got to be done. I mean, you know, it's easier to clean the brush right now than it will be when it gets grass and
Sure.
and leaves and stuff. It'd be cheaper. So what are we going to do between now and then?
We'll have to look for some funding and see what we have. It's not, I don't manage vegetation management in the city of Florence, so.
Who does
Well,
that?
It's a conversation between probably myself and Public Services Department.
All right. Well, okay, now let's go back to our meeting we had with the library. How was that? Pretty exciting, wasn't it?
I didn't think it was exciting, but
You didn't. Well, have you read the library meeting minutes lately? I've been to every meeting since May. Skipped the one in October, see if they got the minutes right, and they didn't. But they've said in there that the Florence thing is going to be put on hold.
I think it was a very disappointing meeting.
Huh?
I think you would agree it was a very disappointing meeting.
They had more people packed, you couldn't put another sardine in there.
You could not.
They don't want people there. They have no intention of having people there. And you screw them up, and they have a faint acquaintance with the facts. There's 2 guys that are involved. Ken Ham, the good part about him is he makes a lot of people mad, and that's good because he makes the right people mad. And this David Rich that just got put on, he kind of thinks like I do. You know, you got the triangle of intelligence where you have people there, you have the corner with the people that are educated, the people that are intelligent, and the people at the top are the ones with common sense. And they're the ones that can go to Walmart and back without using their GPS. And David's one of those people. And I think it's good that he's on the thing and he's making it happen. But as far as you getting something done, I've gotten more done since May than you all have. because I go to the meetings, we got the thing cleaned up, we got lights stay on at night, we got police coming in, we got signs up. They don't camp there overnight anymore. Homeless people are still a problem, and that's the city of Florence's problem. It's not the library's problem. They're yours. And Georgetown, Kentucky's had the same thing. They get the Lexington people. They have worked and they've come up with some housing and some things for them, and they're yours. I mean, you're stuck with them. It's not my problem, it's your problem. So, we got any questions? Got any way to cut down waste? Got any solutions? Well, you guys are the ones that's supposed to have the ideas, it's not me. If you want to talk about homeless people, I wouldn't mind talking with you. I don't want to do it out here in a public forum, but I will talk to you. I got some ideas. We can go visit Georgetown, see what Bernie does, see what Joe Pat does. They're making it happen. They're doing good things. Well, thank you.
Thank you for coming, Joe. Thank you for coming.
I'm trying to make things better. And the last council meeting I went to was a circus without a tent. It just was, it was scary. Later, thanks. Josh, I hope you're where you're at.
Anyone else desire recognition?
My name is Brittany Fritsch, and I am here along with Trevor, and I do understand that I do need to bring my comments to the hearing as well. But my issue is more of a concern of Orleans Boulevard's street safety. And I was going to talk about how adding a complex would increase my concerns even more, but I do believe that it is valid to still bring my safety concerns to you all tonight. So that's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to try and erase out what I had about the rumor mill. Okay. I actually live on Orleans Boulevard, and again, my name is Brittany Fritsch. I live in the 4 houses between the stop sign. So I have Old Union, I have Long Branch right behind me, and I'm on Orleans. So traffic in our area is dangerously congested. The conditions that we experience every day, this is not speculation, this is our reality, more specifically my reality. I have to consistently deal with accidents at the intersection of Orleans and Old Union Road. This happens a couple times a month at least because people are misjudging or not looking for the turn signs, and there's always collision right there because people are pulling out or they can't make the turn, and there's always some sort of something there. During the nicer months, there's always drag racing on Old Union Road. That usually starts about midnight, and I do believe that that's a county road, so not so much your concern. And then it also goes on to Long Branch. We do have difficulty exiting our driveways due to the consistent traffic flow. So sometimes I'll be waiting on a good day. I have to wait about 5 minutes on a bad day, anywhere from 10 to 15. My neighbors just told me to just pull out in front of people and they'll stop. I don't do that. I have a 6-year-old in my back, so I'm definitely not going to do that. But that's more of a nuisance than a safety concern. But retrieving our mail that's a dangerous thing. Our mailbox is right on the road. Our mailbox actually did get taken out completely and then dragged into the road and then left. And we do have to pay for all that damage. And unfortunately, because we do live in an HOA, the mailboxes are astronomically priced. And I was able to talk the guy into cementing it in this time, so it doesn't get dragged. But with that being said, that could also be my body or my head. So I have to wait for traffic to stop in order to reach around quickly and grab anything. And that just stinks. I can't have my 6-year-old out in the front yard either. A random ball or anything that goes even close to the street, because people will hop the curb sometimes. They do throw the trash. They'll yell obscenities. Let's see here. There are multiple near-miss pedestrian incidences while crossing to try and reach the walking path. So you try and go across the way, even in the middle of the day, because we like to walk down to the park. And, you know, you have a stroller, you're trying to get across, or you have child in hand and you're trying to get across. You have to wait till there's absolutely no traffic, which is pretty impossible. Or you'll have a kind driver who's paying attention who will stop and let you cross, but you have an aggressive driver right behind them who tries to speed around. And I've almost been hit before, my neighbor's almost been hit before, and my husband has almost been hit before as well. We have had numerous traffic accidents between the two stop signs. One this past, it was the beginning of the school year. This person was going so fast, he was agitated because there was a delivery person driving, and he was trying to go around, and he went around that person so hard, he hit an oncoming car in between two stop signs and made every single airbag deploy. And in that car, there was a woman who was driving her 3-year-old to a preschool so she could go to work. It was pretty crazy. So, and we do see lots of accidents like that also. So at this point, it's no longer a question of if someone will be seriously hurt, it's when. So I don't know if there's been any kind of comprehensive traffic studies for at least specifically Orleans Boulevard recently, but if there hasn't been, I would like to formally request that. So if this is not the place to do that, please give me any kind of guidance on where I need to do that. So then that way we can also take that into consideration, like I believe you said, when we do start to look at what we're going to do with open land and there's bids and hearings and everything else that I don't understand going on. So that's all I really have to say. And I just want to say thank you so much for all of your time and consideration and for just really sitting here and listening and being patient with me. So if anybody has questions.
If I could.
Mr. Hall.
Yeah, thanks, Brittany. We appreciate your input. Sorry, and we see it as well. I have spoke with Trevor a couple times and provided him with some information. And I guess just to tell you where we are today. As far as Orleans concerned, you've noticed, you've mentioned the new stop sign has been put in place. We've also got the digital signboards. So Trevor was correct. Before we put any of that up, our 85th percentile, which if you're not, aware of traffic terminology, 85th percentile is generally how speed limits are established. It means 85% of the people, without thinking, they feel safe driving at that speed. And Orleans Boulevard was around 35 miles an hour. Since we have placed those digital signboards, we have went back out and we have decreased the 85th percentile in both directions to 30 miles an hour. You still have the outliers. You still have the crazies. I don't know how somebody gets 90 mile an hour on Orleans Boulevard, but they do.
I hear it.
So it's usually just one, but we just recently ran that report and we were glad to see the decrease in the overall traffic as far as speed is concerned.
Yeah.
Now, there's the quantity end. We know it's a major cut through. Anywhere from Ballyshannon is using it. We've put some traffic counters out. We know that there's individuals coming from Ballyshannon. They're coming down and they're cutting through Orleans Boulevard. I have met with management with Boone County Fiscal Court. That's not our road, Long Branch. But we think at a minimum, we need to establish that. Don't completely direct them into Orleans Boulevard, which is the way that intersection feels today. So we need to clean that up. That, to me, while maybe not be a simple fix, it's a more cost-effective fix than redoing the whole road. But that's the goal. Ultimately, is how do we make a connection? How do we upgrade Long Branch Road to make people feel safe on that road and get them to US 42 or whatever that looks like in the future. And there are major obstacles. There's a floodplain. The road currently floods. So the whole thing would have to be lifted. And then when you start doing that, you start looking at houses. Maybe houses have to be taken down. So there is a lot to look into to actually execute and get that thing done right. And we have told the county that, and I've told their administration that if they'd be willing to partner with us and work through how we finance this particular cut-through, we'd be willing to take ownership of that road moving forward to a point, probably to the second entrance of Orleans North. So we're trying to put some skin in the game. Council would ultimately have to make that decision through their budgeting, but we would also, I'm willing to take ownership of the road and maintain that road from a point as well, because it's generally serving our community. So those are some things that are happening right now. Long Branch Road is not an overnight fix, and the cut-through is not gonna, I wish I could tell you we could stop it.
Yeah.
The only way we could stop it is if we cut off Orleans Boulevard at the end. But I bet we'd fire up a lot of people that way. But that would be a solution, is literally
Yeah.
to dead end that road.
And we've talked about that.
And, as far as some studies are concerned, we are talking internally. We haven't done an official, study where they come out and an expert actually does a full blown traffic study. We've done our pieces where we put traffic counts up, and those have been effective to tell us what's happening. But I think you're right. I think we need to probably dig in a little bit deeper and have a professional come in and actually do a study on the area, because I think it will support the decisions we make moving forward as far as Long Branch Road's upgrades.
Okay.
So does that make sense?
Yes, it makes perfect sense.
Okay.
And I'm glad that we're at least on your radar, and thank you so much, so.
Yep, you're welcome. Thanks for coming.
Any
Thank
other
you.
questions? Okay, thank you, everybody.
Anyone else desire recognition?
My name is Jim Leach. I live on Harms Hill Drive. I'm sure you all know me by now. I have been following a very hard act to follow with Mr. Berkshire, so hopefully I am up to his standards at the very least. He gave me a picture of the deer even, which I'm very happy. I might frame that. It's that good. But anyways, to help out, there is a solution to the deer, okay? Fort Thomas has done it. It's called urban hunting. You can get with Kentucky Wildlife. They will give you the guidelines for it. The hunters that do it can only use bows, which, believe it or not, is against Florence ordinances, I've found. And at the same time, they also have to take special tests for it as well. So you're not just getting a bunch of yahoos from all over Kentucky coming in. These guys are basically the most professional hunters because they have been tested to show that. So that would take care of some of your deer population if you were to allow it. That's the first one. Thank you, Joe, for bringing that up. The next one is 7 Brew traffic. I'm not sure who the rocket scientist was that said that there would be no traffic issues there, but I can tell you, driving down that road, it is now a nightmare. Thank you very much. All right, so I might want to consider looking at that if I were you. Now, I'm back to the ordinances and everything that I talked about a couple weeks ago. I was basically told to go fish by the city. So I did that. I talked to the county as well, since I had a letter that said the county was the steward of that list. I talked to the county. I have a nice email here saying that county ordinances are not what Florence is enforcing. Basically, they turned it right back to Florence, if you want to see that. Joy. So we're back to stage 1. I did an FOI for the actual courtesy notices, as they're euphemistically called. And I got the equivalent digitally of about 4 reams worth of paper. I'm really glad that I didn't try to print that out, because we're looking at 1,700 notices. In comparison, there's only been 53 parking tickets put out in the same year. It's easier to park on the street illegally than it is to park your RV in your backyard. I kind of question those kind of priorities. In the month of November alone, there was 21 RV issues and only 3 parking tickets. All right, so that should give you an example. There's been, in December, there was 31 RV issues. January, the RV issue was not at the top. It was still in the top 3. However, 47 occupational licenses were delivered at 7175 Cavalier, all within the period of 22-24 January. That guy must have been sitting in his car just hitting print constantly for the next 3 days at that rate. So that kind of makes you wonder. All right? So I have a list of all the parking tickets. In August, 0 were put out, 0. I have one here that says chicken wire cannot be used. I'd hate to have to try to have a garden because I'm not sure how I'm going to keep the squirrels out if I can't use the proper wire barriers for it. Here I have a map of my own neighborhood that was hit. It's got 7 different residences that were hit in a row. They were all on one street. West Dillcrest wasn't hit at all. The odds of that statistically, when I walk through that neighborhood all the time, are nil and none. And I know he didn't come down my street because there was no notices. Now we have another one here for Myers Store. It says attention property tax. It's all about parking, loading spaces, sidewalks, nothing about property tax in it. I don't know who does that kind of noting, but obviously they didn't do it correctly. And then there's more. There's a corrected copy finally that's got the same number on it. And then there's also issues such as notices to Walmart and Mark's Guns. These companies have been in the area for years. Mark's Guns, for example, has been in for quite a while. 39 years, if I counted right, using my computer to look it up. I have yet to ever get a notice from the IRS telling me I must pay my taxes. I would think Mark's Guns, after 39 years, would have a clue what their Florence taxes are. All right, Walmart, to give you an idea of a big company, 19 years in the same location. I think they have an idea of what's going on. All right. And then here we have another one. Automotive vehicles shall be parked or stored on a paved surface. So it's easier to park illegally in the street than it is to park on your own property. Figure that out, okay? I have 2, and I believe I have a third at home, that are marked tenant. Is anybody here a tenant? I don't know anybody that's got the name tenant. Why would you do that? I mean, how effective is that? None, okay? I have another one here for Florence Mall Realty. I don't even know what it means. It says regulations for each district shall be minimum regulations and shall apply uniformly in each class or kind of structures or land. All owners, lessees, or occupiers of any structures, land at all times comply with applicable regulations and requirements. And then it says, come into compliance. Well, how can I possibly use that as a checklist to know what I'm to comply to? I don't know. I'm going to have to call the city and figure it out, and given the odds of success I've had so far with the city, I'm going to get told, go fish. All right? Here's another one on taxes. Silver Rock was visited for taxes. And then 5 days later, they were also visited for problems with their driveway and their parking lot. I mean, it's just crazy. They didn't do it all at once. I've got one here for Dry Ridge Capital, where the person owning the property is supposed to take care of a part of a water course. The picture here doesn't show a water course. It doesn't even look like the property's been maintained in the last few years. So this is the first time for these people to get an inspector all of a sudden show up. You can tell by the brush in the picture that nobody's bothered to maintain it, and now all of a sudden they're being told, maintain your property. That's just ridiculous. Like I said, 1,700 notices and only 53 parking tickets in the same amount of time. I'm still going through this. So far, I've gotten through January, December, and November. My AI at this point has told me that I need to take a break because it's actually crying on me and telling me that it needs to take a break as well, and it's a computer. So you would think that the AI would be doing just fine. It only needs electricity to be fed. But it's telling me, no, you're going to have to wait a couple of days. It's that bad. All right? So I would suggest that at the very least there be more supervision on these guys, or somebody needs to put this in plain English for what these people are supposed to fix. Because with some of these, I have no idea what they're supposed to fix. And it's ridiculous that there are less parking tickets on city public roads than there are for parking your own RV in your backyard. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Thank you.
else desire recognition? I need a motion to go into closed session pursuant to KRS 61.8101B, acquisition, sale of real property where publicity would likely affect the value of property to be acquired for public use or to be sold by the city, and pursuant to KRS 61.8101C, litigation proposed or pending against or on behalf of the city, and pursuant to KRS 61.8101G, discussions between the city and representatives of a business entity where open discussions would jeopardize the siting, retention, expansion, or upgrading of the business. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Ms. Wingo?
Second.
Second, Ms. Chambers. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We will be in executive session, and we will return to this room to adjourn, and we do not anticipate any further business taking place following closed session. Thank you all for coming.